We've got breaking news out of college football where Michigan State has informed Mel Tucker of its intent to fire him with cause. The notice sent to Tucker gives him 7 days to respond and present reasons as to why he should not be terminated for cause. Tucker is the subject of a Title IX investigation into allegations of sexual harassment against prominent activists and rape survivor Brenda Tracy. Tucker, in a statement released by his attorney last week, has denied all wrongdoings. Of course, Michigan State put out a statement of their own just moments ago, saying in part, quote, "I, with the support of administration and board, have provided Mel Tucker with written notice of intent to terminate his contract for cause. This notification process is required as a part of his existing contract." He goes on to say the notice provides Tucker with 7 calendar days to respond and present reasons to me and the interim president as to why he should not be terminated for cause. That comes from Michigan State Athletic Director Alan Haller. As we welcome in our college football insider, Dennis Dodd. And Dennis, this is really such a strange situation. We kind of knew that this would come to fruition eventually when the news first broke, but now it's here. Mel Tucker has signed one of the most outrageous contracts in college football, 10 years, $95 million. What can you tell us about the latest on this scandal at Michigan State?
Haley, let's take this back to November 26th. 2021. A few days earlier, Mel Tucker had just beaten Michigan. He became like the first or second Michigan State coach ever to beat Michigan in his first 2 meetings. He was on top of the world. He had gone into the transfer portal, just like Dion, and revamped the roster. Kenneth Walker, the third, now with the Seattle Seahawks, was running wild, 5 touchdowns against Michigan. But even then, a $95 million contract, 10 years for a guy that was 16 and 14 at the time seemed outlandish. And now we know, proof positive, that it absolutely was. So here we are. I think the only upside one of the few upsides for Michigan is that this doesn't touch, it's not a scandal involving the program. It's a scandal involving Mel Tucker. The program's a good one. It's in the Big Ten. He proved himself how far it could go, winning 11 games a couple of years ago and playing in a major bowl. But right now, a sad day for Mel Tucker, and I don't know what kind of Haley. I don't know what kind of impact it'll have on the market. One thing unique to this contract, it was funded by 2 boosters at Michigan State. One of them being Matt Ishbia, who's the owner of the Phoenix Suns. So maybe we won't see these things again, or maybe they'll just go on unimpeded.
Let's talk about Michigan State going forward, because obviously the beginning of the season hasn't really been what the players expected. They haven't had their head coach with them since Mel Tucker's been suspended. When you look at the state of this Michigan State football program, what should they expect? How do they bounce back from this with the uncertainty at head coach?
Well, it's not a very good program. It's not a very good team right now. Peyton Thorne transferred to Auburn, the quarterback. I think they'd have a puncher's chance if he was still there. Noah Kim isn't the answer. Keon Coleman went to Florida State, the receiver, where we've seen this guy could be an All-American this year, considering what he's done already. But like I just referenced, I think, look, their little brother, I hate to bring that up, Mike Hart, but in Michigan, but their little brother to Michigan in East Lansing, but we've seen how good they can be. I mean, historically, this has been a good but not great program, and I think it's going to be attractive to a lot of coaches because of what I just said. The pieces are in place. Will a lot of players leave? Absolutely, they always do after something like this. But with the portal, it gives that new coach a chance, like Dion, to build from the ashes pretty quickly.
Who are some names that Michigan State is either already looking at or should be looking at going forward that can step in and lead this Michigan State football program?
Yeah, really interesting, Haley, because, again, some big names, I think, if they aren't interested in it, are going to have to be interested in it. I think right at the top of that list is Jonathan Smith at Oregon State. He's at his alma mater. He's done great things. He's led them, again, from the ashes to a 10-win program, 10-win season last year. Former quarterback at Oregon State. But I don't have to tell anybody out there that Oregon State's resources are going to plummet wherever they end up, probably the Mountain West in this round of realignment, where schools in that league make $4 to $5 million a year. And the last year of their Pac-12 contract, Oregon State's going to make about $36 million. They aren't going to be able to afford the next Jonathan Smith. So I think him, I think Mike Elko, the Duke head coach, who's already got great chops, great reputation, having been the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame and Texas A&M. He's got Riley Leonard, who's going to be in the NFL at quarterback. Sean Lewis, look for him. The offensive coordinator at Colorado, who's done great things in a short period of time, already been a head coach at Kent State, knows the territory. Brian Hartline, there's a reason he got promoted to offensive coordinator and got a huge raise, because situations like this were going to crop up. And in the Big Ten, I think Brian Hartline might be the front runner if Michigan State is of a mind. And then Jim Leonard, the former Wisconsin defensive coordinator, now an analyst. I think he was the interim head coach at Wisconsin last year. Mike Tressel, Wisconsin defensive coordinator now. Jason Candle at Toledo, an interesting name. He's been there for 8 years in the MAC. That's a lifetime in the MAC, waiting for this kind of moment. So I would watch him as well.
All right, well, that's the latest from our Dodd father, Dennis Dodd. Dennis, thanks so much for keeping us updated on all things college football, especially this weird situation that we have at Michigan State. And of course, if you want any extra college football insight, any extra college football knowledge, you can listen to that Cover 3 podcast that features quite a setup of hosts, if you will. Danny, Chip, Tom, and Bud got you covered. You can scan that QR code on your screen, or you can listen in wherever you get your podcasts.